again. It's been so long since you've been here. You had me thinking you had been.
So glad to be in the studio of Unity 93.3 FM this Monday morning, and it's the 6th day, the month of November 2023, and it promises to be very, very interesting in the studio this morning. Beatrice Adamuyeji remains my name, the anchor of Unity Train, your number one socio-political, socio-economic program on radio and of course on TV. We are reaching you live from the city of Jos, Plateau State, Nigeria. And in the studio this morning, Mr. Shaibu Duro is bereaved, and so will not be coming to the studio this morning. And our heart goes to him and his entire family for the loss of their loved one. When we get details of that, we'll get to inform you, even as our listener and our viewer. We owe you that, and that is why we are a family. Thank you so much for being there. In the studio this morning, therefore, I have someone whom remain a friend of not just Unity FM, but a friend of our listener and our viewer. He is the very man who is taking charge of things at the Faculty of Veterinary Medicine, University of Jos. I'm talking about Professor P.H. Bamayi. He just returned from Lagos, and of course, I want to believe you've heard his voice even while he was in Lagos. Now he's in Jos, and so we could not let him rest that much. We said, no, you have to be in the studio this morning so that our viewer and our listener will be happy to hear from you. Prof, good morning this morning.
Good morning this morning, Kubi. Good morning this morning, our viewers. Good morning this morning, our listeners. It's wonderful. We thank God for joining mercies from Lagos to Jos. It was a wonderful trip, and we give God all the praise and all the glory. We want to extend our condolences to our colleague, Mr. Shaibu Doro, who is bereaved this morning. We pray for God's comfort upon him, and indeed every member of the family.
Yes.
And indeed, our listeners and viewers who have lost loved ones in recent times, our condolences also go to you. We pray that God will comfort you, that God will strengthen you, that God will grant you the strength, the grace in the midst of these difficult times to be able to pass through it and to come out strong. So this is a beautiful morning on 93.3 FM radio and Unity TV. Please stay tuned. We are going to be having some fantastic, wonderful, memorable time this morning. Good morning again.
Yes, our viewer and our listener, you have to make deliberate efforts to live in peace with yourself, and then you'll be able to live in peace with your neighbor. And that's what I encourage this message this morning. Is a message from me. Well, you may want to take it, and thank you, because I believe you would want to take that. And so now, let's just begin. We have a lot, and I trust that having a professor in the studio this morning will do justice to lots of the headlines and issues, have, trending issues as we have them over the weekends. And so, if you permit me, I would love to call this review segment as a over the weekend, version of Unity trend review segment, if you don't mind, Prof. Let's see, there are too many issues. How I wish we start from how far so far with Lagos. Maybe we'll just give it some 2 minutes there, and then we'll begin to look at other issues that probably it doesn't have a direct, connection with Lagos.
Yeah, well, Lagos is there, could be. Lagos is the commercial nerve center of Nigeria, and it's the center of excellence.
Yes.
And so many things are happening at the same time in the city of Lagos, and it is a reflection of what happens around the country. Highly cosmopolitan. Every day you have hundreds of people trooping to Lagos from all over Nigeria, and indeed all over Africa. In fact, we have some countries whose embassies have remained in Lagos in spite of the fact that we have a new federal capital territory in Abuja. So That is to tell you how important Lagos is as the commercial capital of Nigeria. That is a designation that nobody will be able to take away from Lagos, being the commercial center of Nigeria. But I think something good, one of the fantastic things over the weekend is that our Naira has gained small strength. The Naira seems to be rebounding a bit against the dollar. There was a time that it had reached 1,300 Naira against the dollar. But over the weekend, we're talking about the region of 1,071 Naira thereabout to the dollar. So people are surprised that the Naira is seemingly gaining some strength. But there is nothing really to celebrate because that might be short-lived, except we have policies on ground that will strengthen the Naira, except that the government is deliberate in ensuring that the Naira remains strong against the dollar. You know, I was looking at something over the weekend. Somebody posted the price tag for an international lawn tennis competition that took place in Nigeria in the 70s. And the price tag for the winner for that tennis competition, you know, tennis is quite prestigious when you are talking about players like Novak Djokovic, Federer, and the rest of them. At that time, it was $13,200 US or 10,200 Naira thereabout. 10,000 Naira or 13,200 US dollars. That is to tell you that the Naira was much stronger than the dollar, you know, in those days. And this is about the late 70s or so, early 80s, you know. Because once upon a time, the Naira was very strong. The Naira was exchanging for 1 Naira to about 2 US dollars until it started weakening to 1 Naira to 1.5 US dollars, then 1 Naira to 1 US dollar, you know, and all that. And then it kept on weakening and weakening and weakening. So the government will need to be deliberate if our Naira is going to be a currency to be known around the world that people can use. If you carry the Naira now and go to other parts of the world, nobody wants to look at your Naira because it is like a piece of paper. So, in fact, some people will tell you, what is this? What are you giving me? They will even tell you, we've never heard about that currency. So the government will need to be deliberate. But again, if you want to talk about Lagos, the congestion in Lagos, the overpopulation, people living in slums, people sleeping on the streets, even in highbrow areas, is something that I think the government needs to really look at. I stayed in Victoria Island for the time I was there. Surprisingly early in the morning, I saw that people were sleeping on the streets. On the streets, people were sleeping. That is to tell you that this doesn't only happen in Oshodi, Ajegunle, you know, and those places, but even in highbrow areas where big people are staying, small people go there to do menial jobs and to find a means of survival. So that is something the government would need to look at. And of course, security is always a challenge in Lagos because you have criminals in every part of Lagos, maybe because of the population and inadequate security personnel and gadgets. Security is always a problem. And so also the traffic jam has not changed. Lagos is synonymous with traffic. Yes. For you to get to, I almost missed my flight, you know, because though we thought we had left in good time, but you know, when you are moving from the island to the mainland, we had to go from VI to Ikeja to catch our flight. As we arrived there, they said that they have already closed. That they have stopped boarding. We had to plead, you know, and all that. So traffic congestion is a problem in the city of Lagos.
Yes, what are some of those? Well, we might not really dwell here too much, but again, what can we say are the features, those things that make Lagos, continue to set the pace as regards, being there to show up for other states to copy in order to advance or to make life really good going?
Well, commerce. Commerce. In Lagos, just bring out anything and keep on the street, you have people buying it. Bring out pure water, bring out vegetables, bring whatever it is, if you can package it well. Because of the population of Lagos, we're talking about over 20 million people in one place. So there is somebody who is likely to need stones. If you keep stones, you want to sell them. Somebody wants to buy those stones. If you keep wood, somebody wants to buy the wood. If you keep worn out shoe, somebody wants to buy it, so that gives Lagos an advantage. The human capital, the population, huge population, and the inclination of the people there to hustle, to make life survive by all means. Life is very fast there. People are always on the move.
Yes.
That's why you have Lagosians who cannot live in any part of Nigeria, because if they come to Jos, we are too slow for them.
Yes.
Their life is very fast. Everything, is pretty fast. We have Lagosians who have been born and they're married, stayed in Lagos, they will die in Lagos. They don't want to stay in any other part of the country, any part of the world. But for me, anytime I'm in Lagos, I'm in a hurry to leave, because the life is fast there. There is pollution, traffic jam, and imagine what kind of life that you leave your family 4:30 in the morning and then return back 10 p.m. or 11 p.m. at night. What kind of life is that? Do I have to live in a big city when I can stay in a small city like Jos and make ends meet? So Lagos has a lot of companies, industries. I can tell you could be that we had an occasion, just the venue alone costed our association almost 30 million naira to just use that venue. But to people in Lagos, that is not too much of money, because there are many industries, companies, multinational companies, a lot of rich people, the billionaires of Nigeria, they're staying in Lagos. Anything that qualitative that you can think of is there in Lagos. You think of the high and the mighty, they're there in Lagos. Lagos has everything, and that is why it distinguishes it from the rest of the country. Anything you can't find in Lagos, I doubt if you're going to find it anywhere.
Anywhere else.
Anywhere else, because it seems to. So that gives it an edge ahead of other cities across the country.
All right, Prof. Now let's just see this one that has to do with every common Nigerian. This one says cooking gas scarcity hits Lagos, Kano, Katsina, and others. We're talking about, this is a time where climate change, the use of firewood, somehow, to some extent, it is expected that we find a way of reducing the way we, cut down trees and things like that. But with some of this news, I wonder how we can really also step up our effort in order to participate in the efforts to, control climate change.
Yeah, that's why we say the government is putting the cart before the horse. If you are telling people don't use firewood, have you provided an alternative for them? And the gas scarcity is not just in Katsina, Kaduna, Kano, other places, even here on the plateau. I'll be going looking for gas today, because our gas also, got finished, I think the gas likes finishing over weekends. So you're talking about for 12.5 kg, people are paying 12,000, 13,500, 14,000 in different parts of the country. Just 6 months ago, we were paying 7,500, 8,000 naira to refill a cylinder of 12.5 kg. Then you have the smaller cylinders, maybe the one of 7.5 kg. 6 months ago, we were filling it for 2,000, 2,500. It kept increasing, 3,500, 4,000, 5,000, 6,000, 7,000. It has just been increasing. And how in the world do you expect that people will not be using firewood? You can't stop people from using firewood because the gas is not affordable. The government was saying, use gas, stop using firewood. Let's reduce environmental pollution, you know. Let's reduce the damage we do to the environment. And we're talking about climate change, you know, and all those things. But we don't have enough gas for the people. Why are we having scarcity? It's either we don't have enough or some people are holding it and waiting for artificial scarcity before they bring it and make ungodly profit. So the government needs to be decisive. If indeed we want people to stop using firewood, government should provide subsidy for gas. Cooking gas, there should be subsidy for cooking gas. This is not petrol. The average Nigerian doesn't have a car. Most Nigerians, I can tell you, 70% of Nigerians don't own cars. But if you subsidize gas, they can use gas.
They too can.
If gas is more affordable than kerosene, more affordable than firewood, people will turn to gas. And they'll be using the gas. But if the gas is expensive, you can talk from now till thy kingdom come, the people will not be interested in using gas. So I think that that's an important area that government should be looking at, investing in cooking gas so that you make it affordable, affordable for the common people on the streets, make it affordable for the average Nigerian, and before you know it, Nigerians will not be going there and be using firewood and causing environmental damage.
Yes. Okay, this one is very sad, but of course there's something we have to also look into. Say, boat tragedy. Taraba recovers 20 bodies, bans night travels.
Yeah, you know, viewers and listeners, we keep having these issues. I have had to travel by boat, these engine boats in some parts of the country, and they use it. The problem is when there is overloading, and this happened in Taraba State. It happened in Karen Lamido local government. People were going for an occasion, and I think that boat was overloaded. And so there was a mishap. There was an accident, and people died. So far, they have recovered 20 bodies. We don't know how many more bodies they will recover. And this is sad. And unfortunately, this again happened in the night, worsening the situation. If you are traveling by canoe on the river or by engine boat on the river during the daytime, you are more likely to get help. In the night, when people are sleeping, you hardly be able to get any help. And that's what worsened this issue. That's why the tragedy is more. In this case, 20 bodies and still counting. And this is why the road safety people keep telling people don't travel by night.
Don't travel by night.
Whether it's by road, whether it's by water, you're traveling on the sea or river or whatever, don't go by night. You're better off during the daytime. Even if you're going by air, it's better during the daytime than in the night. So unfortunately, again, this is an unfortunate episode that these people overload passengers. And it is because they want to make profit within a short time. It is because of greed. When a boat is supposed to take a maximum of 20 people, and you insist on putting 50 people, 100 people, and you'll be saying, no problem, just enter. We can manage. Can't you see? It has balanced now. We'll be able to manage. Let's manage and go. Yeah, you know, probably. So the people also are desperate. Probably they have a time that they have to meet up, deadline they have to meet up with, and so they just enter this boat, and then before you know it, there is an accident. And you know, when you have this mishap, the canoeman or the boatman is not going to be trying to rescue. He'll be trying to rescue himself.
Yes,
the law of nature, the first law of nature is self-preservation. Everybody will be trying to preserve himself first before he thinks about another person. And this is unfortunate. I think could be if you've entered those engine boats, when you look at the way they're speeding and you look at the water, sometimes you might feel dizzy. And if you don't know how to swim, God have mercy on your soul. So our heart goes out to the people of Taraba State.
Yes.
We want to commiserate with them. We want to condole with the families who have been bereaved in this unfortunate boat mishap. And we want to condole with the government of Taraba State. And it's wonderful that they are taking proactive measures to ban night travel. That should have been done long before now. But at least it's all right that they are doing it so that they can save some more lives.
Yes, of course. And our hearts, like the Prof has already said, our heart goes to the family of these very people with whom we have lost in this incident. And this time, another sad one, Prof. This one says a thunderstorm kills 3, a number of pupils on a football field.
Yes. These a number of students were practicing football. You know, football is the game of every Nigerian.
Yes.
So they were out on the field playing, practicing for a football match. And then you had this thunder and lightning that struck the football pitch. And 9 of them were actually involved. 3 of them died, and 6 are in the hospital. This is unfortunate. We know that thunder and lightning is common during the rainy season. Even here in Jos, we thought the rainy season was gone. Suddenly,
yes,
we had heavy downpour yesterday. But the experts have always said it. When it is raining, it is not a good idea to be out there on the field, to be playing or doing anything. Just stop. Whatever you're doing, stop.
Even driving.
You're driving, find a place, park your car. Because when there is thunder and lightning, and you know light travels faster than sound. So the lightning will hit before you hear the sound of the thunder. So it is not safe when you are in an open field, an open ground, because the light will be going in a straight line direction. When you're out there on the field, you can be struck by lightning. So if it is raining, you are safer to look for the nearest building. Find the nearest building and stay there. Because even staying under a tree is not safe, because the thunder and lightning can strike the tree. And you know, when the lightning strikes, the electrocution, the high voltage will kill the individual instantly. And this was what happened to this young man on the football pitch.
Quite unfortunate.
Ordinarily, when the rain started and the thundering and the lightning, I'm sure there is a house nearby, or an office, or a shop, or something. And I think this is a wonderful advice to our listeners and our viewers. Not only when you are playing football, you're out there, it might be even in the market. It might be that you're walking along the road and rain begins. Don't say you're a Superman and you just want to keep just walking along the road with the thunder and the lightning. It's better you look for shelter somewhere. Find some form of shelter and stay there. You'll be safe. But our heart goes out to the families of these 3 young men that lost their lives untimely. We pray that God will comfort them. We pray that God will encourage them. We pray that they will be able to recover from this sad incident. And we hope that football managers and all of us indeed can take precautionary measures anytime there is rain.
Again, our heart goes to the family of this very people again. And then let's just go and see what we have to take on. SUVs is an issue. We just call it SUVs, and every Nigerian understands what we mean. You don't have
that issue is not going to die easily.
Yes.
Because can you imagine in a country where over more than 100 million Nigerians are living on less than $1 a day, living in poverty. And our politicians will be buying SUV for 160 million. We're talking about 109 members of the Senate. And 360 members of the House of Representatives. Can you imagine? Each of them entitled to an SUV costing 160 million. Could be. This is ungodly. This is insensitive. To me, this is the height of wickedness of our politicians. Because you are telling us that the lives of the average Nigerian doesn't matter. You don't care about the poverty in the land. You don't care about the hardships. You don't care about the sufferings of Nigerians. These are the same lawmakers that threw away a bill that will have stopped them from sending their children out of the country to study. These are the same lawmakers that are allowing the federal government to give an award, 35,000 naira to suffering Nigerians, 35,000 naira award to federal civil servants. This is the same. These are the same lawmakers. The same lawmakers that have refused to hold the federal government responsible for its promises to better the lives of Nigerians. These are the same lawmakers that are allowing the suffering of Nigerians because of the removal of fuel subsidy. The same lawmakers are the ones that are using 160 million of taxpayers' money, hard-earned money of Nigerians, to buy vehicles for themselves to enjoy. Where is the justice? Please tell me. How can somebody from a good conscience carry 160 million and buy an SUV for one individual, one person? 160 million. Do you know what 160 million will do to the average Nigerian? Do you know how many thousands of people will be employed for 160 million? Give me 160 million and see what will happen in my community. This is what they want to spend on a vehicle. Can they buy innocent vehicles? If those vehicles are not strong, buy it. When it spoils, buy another one. Keep buying. Can't you buy cars from Belgium like the average Nigerian is using? Can't you buy some SUVs that are Belgium made, maybe for 10, 15 million, and be managing it and show that you're servants of the people, that you're sensitive to the hardships of Nigerians, that you are identifying with Nigerians in their suffering? But these guys, they don't care about the average Nigerian.
Okay, Prof, we'll be going on a short break, but when we come back, I would want you to tell me, you talk to our viewer and our listener, don't you think they need these? Because we have bad roads, and they need these luxurious vehicles so that they will be able to do their jobs, oversight functions, So, but that will be after when we are back from the break. Our viewer and our listener, at this point, we'll be going on a short break. When we come back, Prof is going to be telling us if they really need this car or not. Stay tuned.
Mr. Politician, it's good to see you again. It's been so long since you've been here. You had me thinking you were dead. How's your taxpayer mansion? How was your...
The Financial Services Regulation Coordinating Committee, FSRCC, in collaboration with the National Broadcasting Commission, NBC, wishes to draw the attention of the public to the worrisome increase in the activities of illegal financial operators, IFOs, which threaten public trust and the stability of the Nigerian financial system. The FSRCC and NBC hereby advises the general public to refrain from dealing with unlicensed financial operators who deceive individuals with unrealistically high investment returns. Make sure to verify the licensing status of such companies and schemes on this website. To report any suspicions of illicit financial activities, call 0700 225 5226, 0800 225 5226, or +234 817 665 6273. Let's work together to uphold the integrity of Nigeria's financial system. Announcer, FSRCC.
Please pay attention. It starts from the foundation. Everybody needs somebody. You turn a blind eye and care nothing less. Say it's just business, all about the money. You are so unbothered as long as they pay. Say it's just business, all about the money. You know they're on a fast lane, but you've got business to run. So you look away the other way.
It concerns you. It a kill law, it a kill dreams. It a land people for jail. War against drug abuse.
Mr. Politician, it's good to see you again. It's been so long since you've been here. You had me thinking you were dead. How's your tax?
Thank you so much for staying tuned to Unity 93.3 FM this lovely Monday morning, the 6th day in the month of November 2023. Beatrice Adomo EG remains my name, your anchor. Unity train this morning, and in the studio it has been Professor P.H. Babayi, a friend of Unity FM and a friend to our listener and our viewer this morning. And we've been talking about issues that concerns Nigerians. And again this morning and on this segment we have a very, very serious topic, and Prof is still in the studio, and together we'll be looking at the topic. Before I even introduce the topic, I'll let him conclude on what we were putting on. We stopped somewhere. If our lawmakers really need these vehicles, if they need it, well, I think they need it because our roads are very bad, and so they need it so that they will be able to supervise and do their work.
Well, that's the flimsy excuse that is given by our politicians. Because the roads are bad, they need vehicles that cost 160 million. And the question is, the average Nigerian, which road is he using? Is he not using the same road?
The same road.
The average Nigerian we're talking about. Is he flying, using his two hands and going to his village, and without using the same roads? Leaders are supposed to be servants. We employed. We are the employers of these politicians. We employ them. We employ the members of the House of Representatives. We employ the senators. Without us, they derive their power from the people. We employ the governors. We employ the president. We employed all these politicians. And we're using those roads that they're supposed to legislate and get them fixed. But they're not fixing them. They said they want to buy strong vehicles that will withstand the bad roads. The bad roads that the average civil servant that earns 35,000 naira a month is using his small car to drive on the same road. You want to buy a strong vehicle to drive on the same road that the average Nigerian is using, and you think you are justified? There is no justification for this. 160 million is humongous for one vehicle. Give 160 Nigerians 1 million from that 160 million to start industries, and you'll see what will happen. If this 160 million is given to 160 Nigerians from their constituencies to start industries, start-up companies, you will see thousands of Nigerians that will be employed. Our economy will become better. An SUV is a liability. A vehicle is a liability, it's not an investment, it's not an asset. That you have a vehicle is not an asset, it's a liability. If it was land or something meaningful that you're buying, it will even be understandable. But you're buying an SUV. What is an SUV? A sports utility vehicle, you want to just buy a car just for your enjoyment. The same car you have to be maintaining when you buy it. You need a driver. You need a mechanic to maintain it. You need to be putting fuel. You'll be increasing expenses. Those lawmakers, don't they have vehicles? Don't they have vehicles that they can use? They're supposed to set an example for us. I am a dean of a faculty. I'm a professor and a dean of the faculty in the university. Do you know I don't have an official vehicle? I don't have an official vehicle. I don't even have a driver. And you know how many years it takes to make one professor? Then somebody, just because he's a politician, wants to use a vehicle costing 160 million. These are our students that we taught in the university because they have become senators today. They have become members of the National Assembly. They want to spend 160 million on utility vehicles. Our students that we taught, they are the ones in the National Assembly today. And they want to use 160 million. I mean, in all good conscience, how do you justify this? Tell me, viewers and listeners. Could you tell me how somebody can justify using 160 million to buy a vehicle?
Prof, don't you think you just mentioned an employment angle there? At least a driver will be employed.
Only one driver. Imagine how many people will be employed if this money is invested in our economy. Buying vehicle is not an investment. It's a liability. That is why you go to countries where they're wise. You see their politicians even using bicycles. I've seen a politician using a bicycle. A prime minister using a bicycle. In fact, if we organize our transport system very well in this country, our politicians don't seem to be interested in a revolution in our transport system in this country. You will not need a car, could be, because the railways will pass through everywhere. We'll have buses, we'll have good, well-organized public transport system. You don't even need a vehicle to go to your place of work. The president of the country, the senator can enter public transport and go to his place of work if we have a well-organized transport system. But these guys are not interested in this. They're interested in luxury. A car that costs 160 million is not a necessity, it's a luxury. It is a luxury. They have cars already. If they need additional ones, 10, 15 million or 20 million maximum is enough. Let them get vehicles that they can be using. Those vehicles, I guarantee you, can go to any village in Nigeria that they're talking about. Not using 160 million. They're using that because they want luxury. The luxury of the office is like, it is our own time to enjoy. The previous lawmakers enjoyed also. And they went with their vehicles. Let's buy vehicles we can enjoy. At the end of our term in office, we can also go with those vehicles. It is luxury. It is not necessity.
All right, Prof. At this point, we'll just go on to, table the topic for discussion this morning. And it has to do with what we have to do in order to prevent accidents. And so the topic is causes and prevention of accidents in our homes, roads, and highways. Yes, and it's still, coming back to this very angle with which we've just ended the issue of lawmakers wanting to have these luxury cars for themselves. I think it's because one of the reasons possibly is because they have a good understanding of how bad is our roads. And so they want to try to avoid, having been involved in some form of accident. And so how would you feel if your lawmaker would have to have an accident? So don't you think, anyway, the topic is here for you?
Lawmakers have had accidents. It's not today it started, and it will not be the end. And accidents are multifactorial. The causes of accidents are multifactorial.
Okay.
I still insist that our lawmakers have no right to spend 160 million on luxury vehicles when the average Nigerian cannot even eat one meal a day. When people are dying of hunger and starvation. When people are becoming sick because they can't eat food. They can't feed. When governors are owing people several months' salary, local governments are owing several months' salaries. When all across the country, poverty is smelling all over Nigeria. Our lawmakers have no right to spend 160 million on luxury vehicles when the average Nigerian is dying in abject poverty. The average Nigerian voted you to go in there and represent them. and do what is right and make their lives better. The welfare and security of the people is the primary purpose of government. And if the people are not enjoying any form of welfare and security, what are you doing there as a lawmaker? What are you doing there as a member of the executive? What are you doing there in government? So our politicians have no right to be enjoying themselves living in luxury at the detriment of Nigerians. So talking about road accidents,
the
causes and how we can prevent these road accidents. If you ask me, could be this is very sad topic for me. You know, every day 24 Nigerians die due to road traffic accidents. 24 Nigerians die every day. By the end of today, we will have lost 24 lives in Nigeria. In a month, we are talking about 731 Nigerians. Just between January and June, July, within 6 months, 4,387 Nigerians have died as a result of road traffic accidents. This is a huge number.
So sad.
This is one of the highest in the world.
Sad.
And this the amazing thing is that these accidents are preventable. We can prevent them, but we are not preventing them. And these accidents are all over the country. They happen in the cities, they happen in towns, in villages, in hamlets. We even have domestic accidents that take place maybe in at home, you know, in the office, you know. But road traffic accidents are even more common in this country. And the causes of these road traffic accidents is multifactorial. One, for example, the tires. Many of these commercial vehicle drivers don't pay attention to the tires of their vehicles. I can guarantee you, go to the motor park, you meet many of those vehicles, they're using tires that have expired. How many of them look at the expiry date on their tires? They don't care. They will just enter. And that is carelessness. You don't have good tires, you hit the road running. You don't have a spare tire, you hit the road running. And our roads are bad. Our roads are so bad that commercial vehicle owners should be changing their tires every 6 months, if we tell ourselves the truth. Every 6 months you should buy a brand new tire, strong one for your vehicle, if you are using your vehicle for commercial purposes, to carry people to Abuja, to Bauchi, to Gombe, to different parts of the country. Every 6 months you should be buying new tires to fix, because we don't have roads in Nigeria. And many people have lost their lives. And not only this, when you put the tires, the pressure, is it well gauged? Maybe one pressure is higher than the other. It will affect fuel consumption. It can affect the balance of the vehicle. These are things that you should be looking at, when you're using a vehicle. Another thing is many of the drivers on our roads are careless when it comes to the brakes of their vehicles, brake pads. 2 years ago, I lost my daughter when we were traveling because a commercial vehicle from behind at incredible speed, descending down the hill, came at great speed at a particular point when there were so many potholes and vehicles have slowed down, and he was coming at incredible speed, and he had no brakes. He said his brakes failed. He did not have brakes. Stepping on his brakes, he could not maneuver his vehicle. Even when we tried to leave the road for him to go, he followed us off the road and went and hit us at incredible speed. To tell you the incredible speed at which that Hummer bus was moving. When he hit our vehicle, his vehicle somersaulted, went up into the air. Went up into the air and then smashed on the ground.
Ahead of you.
Thank God that when it went up, it did not land on our vehicle. Maybe all of us would have been dead. It landed on the road. And his conductor, of course, mangled on the spot. How the driver came out, we don't know to this day. Maybe he jumped out at the point or whatever. We don't know. But I lost my daughter. It was a tragedy. That is avoidable.
Prof.
Because
honestly, I had our condolences, though after probably a long time, but the pains somehow.
The pain is still there and will
there,
continue
Prof,
to be there till I leave this world.
Yes.
It's a very painful experience
that
you cannot recover from.
I had those to your family.
But
please.
you see the recklessness of our drivers.
And we have, Prof.
Yes.
Before I forget, I know of one of our callers who would always call to emphasize on the reckless driving in the city of Jos.
Yes.
Mr. Kingsley Barnabas. He will always call.
Yes.
And we always talk about it, even on this platform.
That's right.
Mr. Barnabas will say nothing. He has not seen any change. It's like the authority, the people whom I salute with the responsibility of making sure, even when we talk of issues like this on this platform, no one seems to want to take action.
Who is listening? Because there is no penalty. They are not making an example with certain people. Get some of these keke riders or drivers or whatever we call them, imprison them for 3 years. Make an example of them. Fine them 100,000 naira. Put them in prison. Others will learn. But when they are arrested and they give some peanuts and the police release them, or the road safety just say, okay, don't repeat it next time and allow them go, they will keep doing it because they know that there will not be any punishment for their recklessness. So why are you driving a car or a vehicle without brakes? Or you know the brakes are not working well and you're saying, let's just manage. As a good driver, every morning you should check, do I have enough water in my radiator? Are my brakes okay? My engine oil, is it okay? My brake fluid, is it okay? You open the bonnet of your vehicle, look at all those basic things before you hit the road. But the average driver in Nigeria just wakes up in the morning, kickstarts his car, phew, he starts moving.
I'll just beg you to help him push.
Push once the car starts up.
Yeah, he goes.
He zooms off. He just goes. He will tell you that it's God that is going to protect. He has forgotten that God has said we should be careful. God has God said we should not be reckless. We should not be careless. You know. So you see, that is very important. That you take a look at the brakes. Are your brake pads up to date? You should be changing them from time to time. Every 6 months or 1 year, you change your brake pads to be sure that your vehicle is in good shape. Again, your engine oil, take a look at it from time to time. Service your vehicle. Ensure that your vehicle is in tip-top shape. Again, sometimes we take our vehicles to the vulcanizer, and you know the vulcanizer will remove the tire and then put it back. You know, some time ago we almost lost our lives. The whole of my family will have been wiped out because the vulcanizer, the mechanic, when they fixed the tires, they did not tie the thing when we were cruising at incredible speed, enjoying ourselves. I was playing music, my children were singing in the vehicle. This was years ago, you know. And I kept hearing a sound in the vehicle, and I wonder what is the sign. I will come out and look, I can't see anything. And I will continue again, I'll be hearing a sound. Until I got to a particular place where a man just said, come out of your vehicle. Let me show you something. He said, look at your front tire.
Oh my.
The driver's side. As I was looking at it, do you know that the nuts of that tie the wheels, all of them but one have fallen off. The last one was just about to come out. Only one nut was still holding, you know, the wheel with the tire to the vehicle. Only one more nut was left.
For me to say that was truly God.
Only one more nut was left. If it had just come out, the wheel will just give way. And it's, you know, the front tire, driver's side, the vehicle will somersault. Can you imagine? This is the carelessness of our mechanics, the carelessness of our vulcanizers. That's why these days I stand and I look at them when they're tightening. When they want to tie back the tires, I will look at them, inspect it. Be sure that they have tightened everything very well. Not to take things for granted. Sometimes you give them your vehicle, you just trust them, and they bring it back, you don't know what they have done. And if we had died, they would have just said, may their souls rest in peace. They would just say, maybe it's an act of God, that's the will of God. But it is the carelessness of the vulcanizer, it is the carelessness of the mechanic, and you know, also carelessness of us, the owners of these cars, because we are not paying attention. We just trust these people, and we don't know what they're doing behind us. Again, you see, another thing that causes accidents that road safety has been emphasizing. Maybe one of these days we'll bring road safety to talk about some of these things. People should stop traveling by night, because by night visibility is poor. You're not seeing the road very well, even when you have good eyesight. Our roads are not well lit. Nigeria is still a remote rural country where you don't have lights on the streets, along the roads. If you go to some countries, you have light from one city till you get to the next city. It is not the case here in Nigeria. You know, one of my friends came to Nigeria a few years back, and when he went back, he told me that I visited your country, and he said your country is like my country in the 60s.
Oh my!
He said Nigeria is like his own country used to be in the 60s. Because you see, you'll be traveling between Jos and Abuja. We don't have good road, and there are no lights on the road. You go to developed countries, from Jos to Abuja, you will see bright lights on the highway.
You're talking from Jos to Abuja. Why don't you talk from Jos to Basa? Just smell, just barracks.
Even from Bauchi Road to Faringada.
Yes. Do we have that?
We don't have light. You can't see.
And
it's unfortunate. It's unfortunate. So it is better you drive during the daytime. If you have to drive at night, let it be short distance, maybe within the city. Just some short distance if possible. Avoid driving completely at night. I've lost a colleague within Zaria. He was driving just within the city at night. We don't know what happened, but he had an accident and lost his life and left his wife a young widow. And we have this happening all the time. Even within the city of Jos here, around the Redfield, there was a fatal accident the other time, and lives were lost. And it's really unfortunate, because the drivers insist on driving at night. They insist on driving even when they're not seeing the road very well. They insist on driving when it is raining and there's heavy downpour. You can't see the road very well. Why don't you park the car? Wait for the rain. The rain is not going to last forever. The rain will stop after some time, but they're not interested. Maybe because they want to make more money. They feel, let me go, I need to get some more passengers. You know, this pecuniary avarice and greed, and they just want to keep going on the road, and this is not good. And you see these commercial drivers especially, in an effort to maximize profit, they don't take care of their vehicles. Because their motive is profit. It is not the safety of their passengers. So they don't care about maintaining their vehicles. You enter a vehicle, the vehicle is just making noise. You see
you cannot even open the door at will.
You know, sometimes... was it you I heard saying that the driver had to come out to open the door for
he struggled too hard, but he couldn't open it. He had to plead with the passengers, you know, sitting with me behind. Say, please, can you just come out this way so that this young man will come out?
Yeah, can you imagine? That's what happens, you know. I've seen that experience, you know, years ago, where it's only the driver that can open the vehicle.
Only the driver.
Only the driver. And they will overload passengers. That's another thing. They will overload. When a vehicle is supposed to take 4 people, they will take 8 people. You see? And we lost some young men not too long ago. Young, promising young men. Their driver carried, what do they even call that vehicle? He was carrying about 8-9 people. You know, you will see the driver with 3 other people in front. 3 people in front, and then he will put 5 people behind, 5 or 6 people behind. He's carrying about 8-9 people. He alone, one driver. And he could not control the vehicle. There was an accident. Almost all of them died in that vehicle. Overloading. And they're overloading because they want to make profit. But they're not thinking of the lives of their passengers. So there is no justification for overloading people. If you go, in fact, with the passengers, we are the ones that are allowing them. You see a vehicle is overloaded, and you still join and contribute to the overload. Maybe because the poor man has no choice.
Yes.
Because in some places, if you don't enter, you end up without a vehicle to go where you're going.
Prof,
because
please.
they will tell you, Every vehicle is like that, except you have money to charter the vehicle.
Prof, there is this issue also. Sometimes when you tend to talk to the driver, you are overspeeding.
Yeah.
It's like you're saying, please, overspeed. So what do you do in such cases?
What
Because some of the
do?
ones, once you say, sir, please calm down.
Calm down.
He want to show you, I can take care of things.
Drive, even
And then,
increase the speed.
Yes.
Yeah, so what do you do? I'll tell you what one my friend did. Driver, you're overspeeding. They just kept overspeeding. And she just said, driver, just wait. Can you stop? Stop, I need to do something. Please stop. Stop. The driver stopped. Then she came down from the vehicle and said, bye-bye, you can go.
Right. Okay, there's this man of God actually in church one day. He said the man was overspeeding from Abuja to Jos. He was overspeeding. And then everybody in the vehicle, everybody was, when that is happening, everybody becomes quiet, silent. And then the man of God, the pastor in front, he now said to the driver, he said, you are overspeeding. You want to kill yourself. Because if, peradventure, there's an accident, I will disappear and I will be alive. I'm telling you, I will be alive. You will die. Then the driver became so afraid and just like, in fact, he was asking him, should we stop so that these other people would pee? Because he believed that the pastor actually had some chance that he could disappear when there's any case like that.
Yeah, so you see this is happening, and we need to be careful. Passengers, we must be proactive. If the driver is not listening to you, tell him to stop. Get out of the vehicle and enter another vehicle. It's not by force. You can't lose your life because of 1,000 or 5,000 or whatever amount you've paid. In fact, go and get and pay another vehicle and travel. That's why I like that we have fantastic transport companies. I don't want to call their name on air because I'm not advertising them, but we have a good number of them, especially plying this route from Jos to Abuja, and they don't overload. Just that you pay extra, but you're very comfortable in those vehicles.
Very comfortable.
Very comfortable. Another thing could be is that these drivers, they are overworked, they are tired, but they still insist on driving. You've not rested well, and you're driving. Your eyes are closed and you're driving. Your eyes are closed and you're driving. On the road, you want to kill people? My friend was traveling one time in a commercial vehicle, and he noticed that the driver would just doze off.
Yes.
And then he will come back again. And then he will tell the passengers, oh, I'm sorry. At a certain point, the driver, at least, maybe he came back to his senses. He stopped the vehicle. And he said, look, I'm going to kill all of us if I don't rest. And he asked my friend, can you drive? My friend said, yes, I can drive. He said, please, so that I don't kill all of us, come and take over the steering.
Yes.
You want this journey to continue. No, he was very sincere. My friend took over the driving of the commercial vehicle so that the driver can sleep. The driver sat down and then started sleeping.
All right.
Yeah.
Prof, well, that's so wonderful. It's good that we're hearing this already, and it's time for us to just go on a short break. Our viewer and our listener, we'll go on a short break. We'll be coming back after this. When we come back, Prof will be telling us what other accident that is possible at home so that we can see how we can prevent that too. Stay tuned.
Mr. Politician, it's good to see you again. It's been so long since you've been here. You had me thinking you were dead. How's your taxpayer mansion? How was your...
Are you bored and need some company? Get a TV experience like no other on Unity TV. We are turning up the hits with captivating TV shows, electrifying political programs, music, movies, and lots more that will leave you craving. I'm sure you want to know more. Tune in to Unity TV today and let the excitement take over.
Get ready to be entertained and inspired by the incredible stories around the globe. Don't miss out on the excitement. Hello at Work is an ultimate TV program that brings to you the interesting stories and daily happenings worldwide. Join us Mondays and Thursdays 10 a.m. as we dive into the daily happenings and stories. Tune in and stay. Say hello to the world as you bring in your ideas, as it is a perfect blend of entertainment and information. Get ready to stay up to date while being entertained.
Mr. Politician, it's good to see you again. It's been so long since you've been here. You had me thinking you...
Right, again and again, this is because I know you have been there with us on Unity 93.3 FM and TV. It's Monday, don't forget. This is the first edition of Unity Train for this week. And in the studio, it has been Professor P.H. Mayi, and we've been talking causes and preventions of accidents in our homes, roads, and highways. And this segment is actually a segment we want to hear from you. The studio line remains the same, but I would love to apologize that you would have to give me just 3 to 4 or 5 minutes so that Prof will get to tell us a little about accidents that is likely to take place at homes. And so let's see how we can prevent them too. Then I'll begin to pick your calls. Prof, in a few minutes, please.
Thank you, Kulbi. Our viewers and listeners, there are so many accidents that take place at home. And they can be even motor vehicle accidents can take place at home.
At home too.
For example, my friend was trying to reverse out of the house and crushed the puppies. All the puppies were dead because they were lying under the vehicle. The same can happen to other domestic animals. But there are certain accidents that are inside the house itself, domestic accidents. For example, you're taking your bath and your phone is ringing and you run out of the bathroom and you sleep and you fall down. You end up with a fracture. That's an accident.
That's if you live.
You know, some have even died. We've had people have accidents inside the house. They fell down in the bathtub. They hit their heads and they died. So these are accidents that can take place. That's why I usually advise that if you don't have a very efficient water system, why do you even need the bathtub? Why don't you use the normal bathroom that where you stand on a real solid floor and then take your bath instead of because the bathtub, if you're trying to stand on it, can be pretty slippery, especially when you're using soap, and all that. So again, the tiles, the way we tile our houses. I know some people see maybe a particular tile is so fashionable and is smooth and all this, so they put it in their houses. And once it's wet, the children can slip and fall. Elderly people can fall down, have fractures. They can even lose their lives. Those are things that we should guard against. Why don't we use tiles that are have a little bit of rough edges?
Yes, so
that your shoes or your feet can have a firm grip. You can have good friction, so that you don't fall easily. Or if the tile is so smooth and then it's wet, you don't allow people to walk on it because they can fall easily, And when somebody falls down, you don't know whether he will fall hitting the head or hitting his hand or his back or waist, any part of the body. So we need to guide against these things. In fact, from the way when you're building your house, you should be thinking about domestic accidents, how to prevent domestic accidents. Ensure that your house is built in such a way as to minimize any form of accident from taking place. There are some other things that happen within the house. You can have fire disaster accidents, because you left the gas mistakenly open, or your gas is leaking and you've not detected, and you just enter the kitchen and you light the matches, and everywhere will be on fire. Everywhere will be set ablaze. And that's why if you go out of the house and you're returning back to your house, you should take your time. Don't be in a hurry. Don't be in a hurry to enter the kitchen and light the fire. When you enter the kitchen, the first thing you should do is observe the kitchen.
Right.
Is everything normal? in the kitchen? Is there any strange smell? Don't be in a rush. You know, the problem with us Nigerians, we are always in a hurry in everything. We are rushing. Observe the kitchen. Take a moment, observe. Can you perceive any odor, any smell? If you are using gas in your house, is there any smell? Or if it's an electric cooker, can you perceive the odor of maybe an electric cable, an electric wire or something? Should be very, very observant. And another thing people don't do is when you are going out of your house, the last person to leave the house, switch off everything. Make sure the lights are switched off. The electric cooker is switched off. The electric what do you call it? The oven is switched off. Make sure that those who have electric heater for bathing, switch off everything. Make sure everything is switched off. Your television, your electronics, everything is switched off. The iron, pressing iron, the electric iron that you use, everything is switched off. Be sure that everything is switched off in your house, including the lights in every room before you go out of the house. Because you know NEPA can bring light. ZINARIYA or JED, we call them here. And there can be a spark. And then before you know, there is a fire accident within the house. These are things that we should not take for granted. We should take our time, be careful. Train our children to learn to be careful when we are not around. Or when we've traveled. That there are standard operating procedures within the house on how things should be done. Switch off all appliances, because you can have accidents. And you see, again, I talk about the fact that we're always in a hurry. And one of the reasons why people just fall down and have fractures and could lose their lives, because they are running. Where are you running to? Even within the house, do you need to run? Do you need to run to pick up a phone call? Because the person who is calling you, if you miss the call, you can call the person back. If the person is serious, he will call you back the second time if it's so urgent. Maybe you'll say you don't have airtime. Yes. You don't want to use your airtime to be the one to call you. If the person really needs you, he's going to call you again. Except if he's just calling to say, hello, hi, how are you? I've not seen you for some time. But if there is something serious, you can be sure the person is going to call again and again. These are very simple things that we have to do to prevent accidents, whether it is at home, is on the road, the highway, whether it's in the office. Because some of us, we leave our offices and we leave the lights on. We leave appliances in the office also on. We're supposed to switch off everything. Before you leave your office, make sure every appliance has been switched off. It's a laboratory, make sure you switch off every appliance. Wherever you are, it is church, it is mosque, switch off all appliances. Don't leave them on, because you don't know what is going to happen. Suddenly there can be an upsurge in the voltage of electricity supply, and you can have explosions here and there, and before you know, the place is on fire.
Oh my, that's quite unfortunate. Thank you, Prof. At this point, studio line is booting. You may want to start getting ready to also call us. I would just apologize again. We might not be able to read your comments on our Facebook platform, and again SMS as well. This is because our device is not cooperating this morning, and so we just pick your calls, your name, where you're calling from, in a minute.
Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Yeah, thank you very much. My name is Sadiq Umar. I'm calling from CKNC Junction.
Sadiq Umar, thank you so much. Go on in a minute, please.
I will comment it off. Actually, you have spoken very, very well, and I always like the analysis.
All right.
It is very, very civic, especially when it comes to our politicians. The reality have always been said, but we are hoping that change will be done. And on the issue of accident, actually, it's very, very unfortunate that accidents lead to a lot of deaths, especially from the road, domestic accidents in our community, which is very, very unfortunate. And there is need for enlightenment, especially in this kind of these drivers. The union of these drivers have to be well organized to know that how are they going to control their vehicles, where they come to care for the masses. So some cars are not even supposed to be traveling, but you see that they will allow them to travel, which is not supposed to be like that. So we are calling on government to have a system that will be checking all professional cannot able to, which is will lead to an accident. And there's a lot of things that lead to an accident even in the electric activity. So people have to be very, very cautious, and awareness, as I said, supposed to be emphasized.
Thank you.
So that people will be remembering all these kinds of things. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. I would love to also plead with our callers this morning. Please, if you call, try to just make a point in a minute, because this is the only means by which we receive comments from our listener, a caller this morning. And so please, if you call, just try to just go straight in as you tell us your name and where you're calling us from. We don't have we don't think it's possible for us to be able to read your comments in any of our platform. Well, we're doing our best as soon as we get that, but for now, just do the needful. In a minute, make your comments. Thank you. 07032353315. You will be with us live. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Yes. Good morning.
Good morning, Professor.
Thank you.
Good morning.
Welcome back from Lagos.
Thank you very much.
I'm Christy Zang from Okubaru.
Christy Zang, so good to have you.
So I just want to ask my voice to, maybe Professor forgot to mention that we should not drink and drive.
Yes,
So people used to really drink. They are really drunk. There are some people drunk.
But they driving. In fact.
And there are some people who have died because of that. So I think we must be very, very careful.
All right.
And then I want to, Professor always analyze passionately. In short, I love the way he analyzed things.
All right.
I still want to add my voice to what he said about our members trying to
lawmakers,
buy SUV cars and the rest of them.
Please.
They are just being inconsiderate, and in short, they are not considerate, they are insensitive and the rest of them.
Right.
That's what I can say. Because how can people be dying of hunger in your country and you're still buying those kind of cars? And their excuse is that our roads are bad. Who did not, are they not supposed to repair the roads for all of us?
Thank you.
I just wish, like I said last week, these people used to hear these programs all their age. They get back to them and let them do the needful. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Christy Zang. Okay, we have been rescued by Professor, actually. We have gotten a device with which we will be able to read few of the comments that you have on our social media platform. That is Facebook, to be precise. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Thank you. So you may send your comment. You're welcome. Who is with me?
Good morning, Professor.
Thank you.
Good morning.
Thank you very much. This is your question.
Please, go on in a minute.
The professor is talking about looking at accidents and need for good governance in our community.
You may need to speak up, please.
How road safety or whatever institution that was started with the regulatory means of preventing accidents are handling it. Because we will be the passenger in a car and we will visibly saw a wrong driver and we will pass through these people. All they need is the people from him and the partisan are proven. While you, as a passenger, you're not comfortable and you don't have other alternatives because maybe you have bought vehicle for the night before the driver even took off.
All right.
So you have no alternative thinking, okay, at the middle of the road, maybe when you drop to, like easier, so that's when you realize that. You cannot drop at the middle of nowhere.
That's another
even
thing.
more dangerous.
All right.
So these people need to do their work and make sure that before a driver takes off from a particular part, we should be clear and ensure that he's in a very healthy and sound condition.
Thank
I
you.
think that will help a lot rather than going after the tax, the fee, and what have you. I think life is more precious if you are to provide people with a better welfare. You must secure their life first.
Thank you.
Before whatever development will come.
Thank you very much.
Thank you and have a nice day.
Yes, thank you very much. And on our Facebook page, Aminu Abdullahi Shuaibu is saying, good morning, Kubi, and the prof in the studio. I salute you with great job you are doing. Keep it up. And this one, okay, we'll be reading some of these in between calls. Hello, good morning. Hello, good morning. You may need to call us back. The number is 0703235315. You would also need to be far away from whatever device you're using to monitor the signals. Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
Thank you very much. Your name?
That's Comrade Patrick.
All right. Okay, go on in a minute.
Yes, the political situation in Nigeria and economic situation in Nigeria,
yes,
we not say that it's dancing. My very concern this morning is this. Let our Nigerian government, the politicians, Kofi, Bayelsa,
yes,
we are not underlined oxygen state for the election.
All right.
Now, what do I tell that word oxygen state? It's no time to explain. We have to break it because this example of we have to do the needful so that we get the rightful thing. I'm just feeling that anybody going down from here you should do what? Do the needful.
All right.
Not allow anybody to use him or her.
Thank you.
Economy, again, is fighting hard. So, that the first issue that cut your food or cut your cloth according to that, do the needful. Anyone that's not doing this, just be outside. Good morning.
Thank you very much. And this one is saying, Unity trained student Haruna Ahmad Masu from Yanshanu, the guest has spoken excellently, brilliant, with facts, sir. May God guide you through your life ambition. And I say amen. And I remember Robert Mugabe once said, how can we convince the upcoming generations that education is very important when we are surrounded by poor graduates and rich criminals? This is why in Nigeria you can see a very poor professor finding it very difficult to enjoy a little luxury of life. May God save us. Amen. And this one say, good morning, my excellent radio presenter Kubi. Thanks for the good work. We always appreciate your good works you are doing. Plateau, please keep it up. God bless Nigeria and Plateau State. Do you have a wonderful day? From Mutala Hayama Igia Shanu. Thank you, Mutala. And this one says, good morning to you, gentlemen. And I want to say welcome back to the prof. I hope you have had a wonderful journey, because I know we will learn one or two things from the journey. Could be for the good works. Ahmad Tajuddin from Naragoda. Thank you, Tajuddin. And this one is saying, good morning. Watching you live from Gumawa, Gabas, Kano State. Oh, mine. And it's coming from Mukadedes, Kanu. All right. Thank you for watching, even from far as Kano. Thank you.
Hello. Good morning, and
oh, thank you very much. You might be our last caller. Go on, your name.
Yes, my name is Avitel. I'm calling from Tonga.
All right, go on, please. Thank you very much.
In fact, our life is very, very important. Understand? You have to be very, very careful with the way we are entering, especially this December month. Understand?
Okay.
Because some drivers, we are very, very carelessness. We are very reckless during driving.
All right.
Yeah, honestly, let us do. I several times, let me tell you, I called the attention of possibly calling the attention that
all right.
During their driving, to overspeed and reckless drive at moment.
Yeah.
So my life, they always recording human being life. You understand? So sometimes I blame some passengers. They are unworried. They will just press the driver. Just they are worried. This is very bad.
Thank
Let
you.
us do our life first before anything.
Thank you very much. I think as a tailor, we have come to the end of receiving from you. This is not because it's not important to hear your take on this topic, but those of you who probably must have been sending your SMS, well, not a promise, but I look forward to reading them when we come here for tomorrow's edition. But before we say bye-bye, I'll let Prof, to respond to some of this and, of course, cap up as we say bye-bye.
Yeah, thank you very much, Kobe. Thank you, our viewers and listeners. Thank you for your calls, your observations, and want to appreciate you, especially those of you who have added to our discussion, like Christy Izan talking about drivers who are drunk and they still want to drive, and that's one of the causes of accidents on our roads. So we really appreciate you. We've entered the ember months again, so we need to be careful. This is November. We have December, and then it will be a new year. Please think about it. Do you have to travel?
Do you have to travel?
If you don't have to travel, don't travel. If you must travel, please be safe on the road. You enter a vehicle and the driver is misbehaving, please report him. Caution him. Do what is right to ensure, because life doesn't have a spare. We have only one life, so we need to be very careful on the roads, especially in these amber months during which most of the accidents take place in this country. And then I want to appeal to our politicians. Please prioritize the welfare of the citizens of this country over luxury. I want to appeal to His Excellency the President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, because I understand that he wants to buy a yacht also for over 5 billion. A yacht, there is a vessel that you use on the sea. Of what benefit is that to the economy of Nigeria? What benefit to the masses who are dying to spend over 5 billion to acquire a yacht for the president, and to spend billions to renovate the presidential lodge in Dodam Barracks that nobody is using? His Excellency has houses in Lagos. Why do you want to spend billions to renovate the presidential lodge in Dodam Barracks? What for? And for the vice president also to renovate? What for? I mean, all those humongous amounts that we want to waste on frivolities. Why don't we invest them in the citizens of Nigeria? Because the welfare and security of the people is the primary purpose of government. Let's use that money to build industries all over Nigeria, to create employment opportunities all over Nigeria, to give scholarship to indigent students all over Nigeria. Some can even leave the country, study in other parts of the world. Let's use the money to invest in our economy instead of wasting it on frivolities. Let's remember, politicians, that one day we will give account to the people who elected us and to God Almighty. If we don't give account to people, we're going to give account of the public office that God gave us. We give an account of it to God on the last day. And that is why whatever we are doing, we should do with the fear of God in our hearts. Because we may escape the judgment of man, but we cannot escape the judgment of God. Fellow Nigerians, thank you for being peaceful. Thank you for surviving all the hardships and the difficulties. Please don't give up. I believe that Nigeria will get better as the days go by. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Prof. Thank you for coming to the studio again. And we look forward to having more and more of you. Different topics. All right, our viewer and our listener, at this point, we have come to the end. But before I go, I beg to read this. This one is saying, good morning, gentlemen, and good morning, Professor. We sincerely appreciate your educative and progressive analysis. You said it all. Keep saying the bitter truth to our leaders. We wish you safe return from Lagos. Thank you. It's coming from Ismail Isa. And thank you so much. On this, we've come to the end of today's edition. But before then, tomorrow is going to be very, very interesting, because we'll be having the representative of our water board in the studio, to discuss at length. If you have any water issue, any question related to that, you may want to be here with us tomorrow for tomorrow's edition. And for me, Patrice Adamuizi, could be, I say bye-bye. See you at the...
Mr. Politician, it's good to see you again. It's been so long since you've been here. You had me thinking you were dead. How's spare mansion.